It's been a minute. It's been a whole minute. Let me just get used to being on camera first, and then we can really get into what the hell been going on. Hey y'all, it's Kiki. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Really, I should say welcome because it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I recorded a video because I have been trying to get used to this transition I've been going through in life. And this transition is basically me moving across the damn nation. I don't talk about this often because I really don't like telling my business and I don't really want to get into the specifics of it. But I have just been trying to create a life that's drama free, that's free of chaos, that's just free of mess. And for some reason, the people that I have tried to distance myself from just don't want me to walk away from them. So I had to just find a whole new place that nobody knew about. No one in my life knows where I live. Nobody has my phone number because for some reason, every time I allow these people back into my life, drama just comes with them, and I don't like mess. I keep beating around the bush. Let me just say it. I know people hear this term all the time. We hear it going crazy on social media, but I'm one of those children who has no relationship with either of her parents. So those people that I was referring to about 30 seconds ago was really my parents. At the top of the year, I ended up having a run-in with them, and I was just so, I guess the word is disheveled. I don't know if I want to say disheveled. I was just very uncomfortable where I was. So I didn't feel comfortable shooting any more videos, recording any more videos because I was just like, I don't want to keep having to deal with this drama. I don't want to have to worry about getting out the car, looking left and right, making sure nobody's sitting outside my apartments, X, Y, and Z. Now that I am comfortable in my space, I'm comfortable with recording, I'm comfortable with being in front of the camera, I'm comfortable with actually like building a routine that works for me because I'm not constantly having to worry about having to argue or like fight with some people that I really don't want to talk to. You know what I'm saying? But I named this video how I returned back to myself because for a very, very long time, I spent a lot of the years trying to convince myself that I was one way, not because I genuinely believed that I was that person, but it was because everyone around me seemed to benefit from me being that person. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this is just who I need to be so that I can, keep the peace for everybody else and everybody else can like be happy and live a joyful life. But how fucked up is that if I have to basically suppress who I really am so everybody else can be comfortable, and I have to sit up in my room and cry about it because I really want to be who I really am, but nobody seems to accept it, right? And what I'm talking about is basically for a long time I stopped myself from being very expressive, very creative, just tapping into like everything that I really used to love when I was younger. And it was out of fear and it was out of worry about people having shit to say, right? But I noticed that when I was being who they needed me to be, they were still talking shit. So it's like, you might as well just do what you want to do because people gonna find something to say regardless. I think when we come up as people, like when we are children and then teenagers and then adults, we run into so many different, not just people, but experiences and situations that are not necessarily supposed to tear us from who we are, but they can. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to say these situations are supposed to make us forget, but I do believe that in this life we're supposed to remember and always return back to our authentic selves. And I noticed that right now I'm in a period of my life where everything that I loved doing, enjoyed doing, and had no fear of doing is finding its way. The desire is finding its way back, if that makes sense. But it took a lot of inner work for me to be able to even feel comfortable enough to get back to my natural and genuine personality. I deleted all my social media because I just did not want to be seen, and I believed that I wasn't supposed to be seen. because it just felt like every single time I would express myself, every single time I would not just express myself like just by talking, but if I was to express myself like artistically or creatively, it just felt like I was always getting some sort of like pushback. And so I had convinced myself like, oh, I'm just supposed to play the background. I had basically told myself, you know what, I am an introvert. So that means I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to really say much to anybody. Nobody's going to really know what I really sound like. Nobody's going to really know my real voice, because not because I genuinely believe that I was an introverted person who shouldn't talk, but I believe that it was safer for me to do that. So I put myself in this little shell because it was safer. Like I wasn't getting no pushback. I wasn't getting people, trying to argue with me, trying to fight with me. I wasn't getting people, having opinions and things like that. But I was. That's the thing. I did all of that thinking that I was going to avoid judgment and criticism and people gossiping and talking about me. But it still happened anyway. So I was like, if I try to create this personality of being, I guess just a person who prefers solitary and not to be around people and not to talk to people and things like that. If I try to create this personality or this persona of being an introvert because I didn't want people to have anything to say, and they still have something to say anyways, we might as well just do what the fuck we want to do, because clearly there is no getting around that. My biggest fear for some reason was getting negative pushback. I struggled with like a validation, which I think I mentioned earlier, but I struggled with validation and I struggled with wanting to be liked. I struggled with wanting everybody to have positive things to say about me and good things to say about me. But in reality, people just gonna say what they want to say, even if they never met you, even if they never really had a bad experience with you. If they decide they want to talk shit, they decide they don't like you, they just don't like you. Ain't really nothing you can do about that. So I had to, come to terms with that, and how I got over that desire to be validated, or that desire to be liked, was liking myself. Because like I said, I was forcing myself to adopt this personality that really wasn't me. So in reality, it was like, okay, you don't even like yourself enough to be yourself. So you trying to be somebody else so that you can be fit in, be liked, whatever the case is. And so I made it my mission to drop that whole little introverted persona. And I made it my mission to put myself, not only to be myself, but to put myself in places where that would challenge me to be expressive and to really tap into that creativity and things like that. So I started joining like different groups, different organizations. I started joining like Discords and things like that, because when you're there, not only are you there with like people who are like-minded or people who share the same interests, but they're looking forward to hearing from you. And I don't necessarily, it's not that I still don't get any pushback, but I don't care about who likes me and who doesn't, if that makes sense. Like I spent so much time affirming myself and validating myself that I got to the point where I was like, I don't really care if you like me or not. I like me. So if you don't like me, that's fine. Because when you think about it, I'm like, bitch, you don't even like everybody. You don't even like everybody. So how could you possibly think everybody's going to like you? But that was just the honest to God truth. I did struggle with validation a lot. And through writing, not just like writing just like stories and just like, short stories, fictional stories, but through writing like poetry, writing like songs, doing YouTube videos, and also like communicating with different people, not just people that are from where I'm from, but people from all across the country and some from across the world. It helped me to gain that confidence in being myself, because there is no better way to be than to be yourself. And after all of the shadow work prompts I got off of Pinterest, because that's where I got most of them. After writing my little life away, breaking down those prompts, after journaling every observation that I made with my family, after just allowing myself to be vulnerable. If I felt embarrassed, saying that I felt embarrassed. If I felt angry, allowing myself to say that I feel angry and to feel the anger. Like when I allowed myself to be vulnerable and to really embrace all of who I am, that's when I become comfortable being all of who I am, because I am now accepting that part of myself. I'm in this new place, I'm in this new space, and I don't know. It's feeling like one of those nights. No, I'm kidding, but it's just feeling like it's easier for me to be myself. So, the best way that I can say that, or the things that I did, that I've done, I'm sorry, to help me to return to myself was doing all the things outside of my comfort zone, right? Because you were comfortable with being in the background. Now, forcing myself to be out there. I'm forcing myself to be seen. I'm forcing myself to be looked at, and trying to get comfortable with that. Basically, just becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. Not the uncomfortable that doesn't help us grow. Not the uncomfortable that is going to keep us in the same place and keep us stagnant, but the uncomfort or the discomfort that's going to push us to become, who we really are meant to become. And I also had to accept the fact that, not everybody, some people have these great and amazing support systems, and I have a support system, but there was a point in my life where, like I mentioned, I don't have a relationship with either of my parents, but it was a point in my life where I really, really thought I was, and I had to grieve that version of them that I thought I was going to get, because I had to realize I'm never going to get that version. Like, when you grow up and you are raised by emotionally immature adults, you cannot expect any type of change or growth from these people when they have been the exact same people that they were when you were a child. I'm knocking on 30. I'm not 30, but I'm knocking on 30. And it would be, just a bit, I don't know if the term is delusional, but it would just be it will be a waste of time to sit around waiting for people to change when that has never been their MO. But I can't sit here and say that I have, or that I feel some type of way about it. Of course, it's frustrating not being able to have a healthy relationship with your parents, but at the same time, I do believe, and I heard this quote, I don't remember who said it, but I do believe that some people are not really meant to change. They're just meant to show you what you could end up like if you don't change. So I guess that's also the biggest lesson I learned when dealing with the parents that I have, is like, are you going to stay in the same place and be the same way for the rest of your life? Or are you going to do the work? And after you do all the journaling, I went to therapy. I'm like, are you going to do the work so you can become who you need to become, so that you don't repeat these patterns, and so that you don't end up in the same cycles? And it sounds scary, and it is scary, but that's the whole thing when it comes to growth. You have to do the scary things so you can, break down those walls so you can get to the next place in life and the next chapter in life. Some people have been on the same chapter for a decade, for 2 decades. Some people are still learning the same lessons over and over again, and they are well off into their late 40s, early 50s, 60s almost, and I just didn't want to be that person. I feel like if I'm running into the same lesson, I have an issue. If I am running into the same problem, I have an issue. I am the issue. I need to solve the issue. And so luckily I, just applied all the things that I've learned, and it's gotten me to this point of being able to care for myself, and also to root for myself, and also to attract people into my life who are also rooting for themselves and rooting for me as well. It's not really a competition. Like, we all going wherever we going, and we all want the best for each other. So it's like, I don't have to compete with you. I don't have to be jealous, because you got your talents, I got my talents. You got your dreams, I got my dreams, and we're good. So, but yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about. I know that, like I said, I haven't posted a video since March, so it's been some months. But it hasn't just been that I just absolutely was like, I quit YouTube. I'm such a sensitive person that I have to retreat. And I think I talked about this in the past video, but I am a person who has to retreat to get her mind right. And sometimes life is like, listen, you need to sit down and put this on hold. It's not going nowhere. It'll be there when you get back. One thing that I can say that has helped me to be where I am right now is I still journal, but now I try to do a lot of journaling as far as like gratitude goes. So I have a gratitude journal where I just write down things that I'm grateful for. It could be something as simple as I'm grateful for my eyesight, or I'm grateful for, my ability to drive myself to work and back. And something very, very simple. Because I think when you show, or when you're constantly in a state of gratitude, you're in the present moment because you're not worried about what you don't have and what you want, and you're not thinking about the future, you're thinking about the now. So that's been my constant I guess work or practice, is practicing gratitude so that I don't become so obsessed with future and things like that. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. That's where I've been. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. But I do have a lot in store. So thank y'all for watching this video. Thank y'all if you are somebody who was watching my old videos and you came back because I've been missing and you was wondering where I was going. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.